Hello everyone. This is just going to be a video of just something talking a bit serious on a serious note. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be the video that you are probably thinking, like I'm talking about the emotional attachment that Mr. Bryant had to me. But what I really want to talk about today is how this culture views tragedy. Now, the reason why I need to bring this up is the fact that everyone and their mom is, mourning for Kobe Bryant right now, and I understand that. But I don't really think they're mourning for him for being him. They're mourning him for being famous. You see, the way that culture these days, seems to mourn people, it's the more that you were known, the greater the reason to mourn you. And know that I don't mean known as in people knew you actually like on a personal level. I just mean known as if known to the world based on how famous you are, what sport you played, what movie you played in, and all kinds of things like that. But the issue that I seem to have with this trend is the fact that people will downplay tragedy. What do I mean by downplaying tragedy? Well, like how we can look right now and we can see everyone and their mom, is mourning for Kobe Bryant. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be, but just hear me out. But when it comes to like what's going on in China with the coronavirus or an earthquake hitting Haiti or a volcano erupting, there's nowhere near the level of concern for the tragedy that has happened. I mean, in this instance of Mr. Bryant's passing, two individuals have passed, right? But, like 100 people, 1,000 people could pass away in another tragedy. And, it may make headlines, but people usually aren't really going to talk about it unless they're from that area. And, when I ask certain people, well, why is it that you're mourning this guy? And I'm not just talking about, like, Kobe. I'm just talking about, like, any celebrity that has passed. Why is it that you're mourning this guy? Why is it that you're mourning this guy who's well-known? Compared to, like, not mourning a whole bunch of people who may have, like, tripled the amount of people that have passed away compared to, like, this just one individual. And they say, well, I didn't know those people. And I was like, well, to be honest, did you really know this celebrity that you're mourning? Like, did you truly know them? Or did you know them for, like, what they portrayed? You see, knowing someone, like, personally and knowing someone, like, in just the way that they project themselves are two very different things. People project themselves to be something that they are usually not all the time. More so when you become famous and known, you'll usually try and project yourself as like this positive image and you're always happy and like nothing's ever wrong with you. But like on a personal level, like the people that you're close to, you'll tell them what's going on. You'll say things that only they will really ever know. And yet here's everyone mourning a celebrity, in this case Kobe Bryant. And it's not just limited to him by any means. But here's everyone mourning him, but I don't think they're mourning him because they knew him. They're mourning him because of what they thought they knew, you know. And when it comes to another tragedy that is equally as catastrophic and equally as sadful that should be respected and mourned, sometimes it's not even commented on. Whether it's a mass shooting or a natural disaster, no one's sad for this. No one's talking about the people in Australia that have lost their homes as well as the wildlife. I mean, people know the wildlife has lost their homes, but there are also people in Australia who have lost their homes to these wildfires. Like, the concern is not as there. I mean, it's making headlines, but it's nowhere near trending as if, like, a celebrity has passed away. That's not trending nearly as much. Where's the concern and where's all of the support going to the people who are trying to, like, fix what has happened during the hurricane? I think it might be a year ago now in Puerto Rico, but there's still an insane amount of damage. Where's the concern? Or is it just, oh, but that just moves on? Well, the point of the matter is, like, you didn't really know this person and you're mourning them. And at the same time, you say that you didn't know these other people that have passed that may be in the thousands, and you just say, well, life goes on. Like, I feel like tragedy in this culture only matters when you're famous. If you're not famous, it's just a part of life, but if you're famous, apparently everyone's heart is moving. And I just really have a really big issue with that because tragedy is tragedy. It doesn't make it more tragic just because you were well known and because you had millions. You know, people dying is people dying. And at the end of the day, like we can mourn and say that we're sad by that all we want to, but the people who are really sad are the people that actually knew that person on an intimate and a personal level. We may have known them on the level that they portrayed to us publicly, but we'll never be on the same level as that person that knew them on a personal level. You can say that you have a deep connection with someone, but I feel like you can't really say that unless you really knew them. Unless you really spent time with them on like a day-to-day basis or even a weekly basis or even monthly for that matter. Just keeping up with them regularly, the real them, not the them that's on social media, not the them that they portray and whatnot, the true them. Which is why I feel like in this case, the people who truly are mourning right now are the people that actually knew Mr. Bryant on a personal level. You know? Like, I'm not saying that this isn't a tragedy. I'm not trying. That's not like the point of this video. The point of the matter is, it's sad that people feel as though someone being famous equates to it's more saddening and it's more of a tragedy than someone else dying. Death is equally taxing no matter if you're famous or if you're not. People care about you, and when you're gone, you're gone. And I just don't feel as though the way that this culture portrays grieving is right in the sense that if you're known, okay, we grieve you, we're sad, and we're sad for like months. But if you're just an average person, life goes on. I just don't like the way that that's done. So with that being said, that's just going to bring this video to a close. I know that this is something a bit serious, and I'm not necessarily, happy-go-lucky or enthusiastic in this video, but it's just something that really concerns me because, death is something that affects all of us, and it's really serious, and yet, here people are, and they're mourning Mr. Bryant mainly because he was a celebrity, not because they really knew him on a personal level. Then at the same time, you question them about, well, what about other people that may not be well as known, and then it's just life goes on. I just really have a problem with that. So, rate the video if you think it deserves. Tell me what you'd like to see in the future in the comments below. Please do pay your respects to Mr. Bryant. Show his loved ones some condolences, and I will see all of you in the next one. Take care.